Ready?
The meeting will be called to order. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together again today to try to conduct business for our county. And we hope, Heavenly Father, when we leave here today, we have a better understanding and guidance of which direction we're going to be going. Amen. I'd like to say welcome to Williamsburg citizen who may be looking in or listening in at this time. And I am presiding because our supervisor is unable to be here, and we have other councilmen on their way. So this is our yearly budget presentation from our department heads and outside agency. And at this time, we're going to call in our first department, and that will be water and sewer.
Good morning.
Morning.
Here. Okay. Water and sewer passed out the budget with all the numbers in it. Hope everyone's got a copy. What I would like to do, and I'm certainly open to suggestions, just kind of go line by line and let you know what the numbers are this year versus what. Now, okay. All right. Passed out the budget sheets. What I'd like to do is start with the expenses, which begins on page 3 of your handout. Wastewater treatment plant sewer, you'll see down at the bottom, the very last line item. That's kind of the heading there. Salaries, we've got $39,432. What we do, we have 2 departments. We have to keep the funding separately. We have water and we have sewer. What we do with our salaries, retirement, health insurance, we take 25% from sewer and 75% from water. Water is obviously our, most revenue, most expenses are all incurred in water because it's a larger department. We only have 1 sewer customer, that's at the federal prison, along with the 52 station out at 52 and 521. They are a sewer customer as well. So, second line, life insurance. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How you
Sorry,
doing?
guys, I was a minute too late.
That's all right. Life insurance, that's for the employees, $46. FICA, $3,017. Councilmember Floyd, do you have a handout? I'm just going line by line on the budget.
Again, I apologize, guys. I'm running the secretary list this morning, so I'm so looking.
We are over on page 4, just going line by line, starting with the wastewater department. County retirement, $5,741. Group health insurance, you see those lines were duplicated. We had one above FICA. Nothing's in that one. Got it all in the second line. $2,830. Telephone, $2,300. Postage, $275. Office supplies, $500. Janitorial supplies, $150. Printing supplies, $75. Other operating expenses, $50. Liability insurance, property insurance, $3,000. Tort insurance, $150. Machinery and equipment repairs, you'll see that's one of the bigger line items, $22,000. That's if we have a pump malfunction, electrical issues, something tears up, we've got to fix it. That's what that line item is for. Electricity, which is by far the most expensive line, that's basically for the wastewater plant. That bill in itself is roughly $7,000 a month just for the wastewater plant. On top of that, we have 3 lift stations out on 521 pumping the sewer from the prison to the wastewater plant. Water and sewer, that's utilities, basically at the wastewater plant, that's $4,000. Travel and training, $25, not much there. Membership and dues, $3,158. Gasoline and fuel, the bulk of this being the generators. This fluctuates with how often we lose power. If we have a hurricane or something like that, lose power for has been 4 or 5 days, obviously we use a lot more diesel fuel. Legal contractual services, $1,000. Workers' comp, $1,580. Contracted services, O&M, $43,560. That is with S&T Utilities currently. Contracted services other, this would include your grass cutting, the generator maintenance, lab testing. We have to send samples off to a lab in Florence to comply with the DHEC sampling criteria. That's $29,250 per year. Operating permits, this is an annual permit that DHEC charges for us to operate the wastewater plant. That's $1,330. Chemicals, which is 100% chlorine, that's used to disinfect, $4,000. Depreciation expense, I don't have anything in that line. Honestly, I do not know how to calculate depreciation. So, engineering, that's if we need somebody to engineer something, obviously small, $3,000. Lab supplies, $300. General supplies, $1,000. General and admin expenses, $0. Equipment rental, if we have to rent a pump or anything, type of machinery or something like that, $1,000. Lane sewer operations, this is the town of Lane. We operate a sewer system for a portion of the town of Lane. Right now, that costs us about $16,000 a year. Enterprise fleet leasing, we don't have anything in wastewater. I think when we get over to water, you'll see that total charge in that, and that's for the 2 vehicles that we do have. We have a service truck and a vehicle that I use to get out and about. Transfer out to reserve. Every year, USDA requires us to transfer a certain amount of money over to a reserve account. So that yearly fee just for wastewater is $2,650. Capital outlay, I don't have any capital projects planned for sewer. RDA loan payment, that's the USDA payment basically for the wastewater plant whenever we borrowed the money. Goodness, we're probably about 20 years old now. $26,436. That's the annual debt payment to USDA. Not planning at the moment to transfer any money out to the general fund, so that's $0. So you have a total wastewater expense of $313,854, which you see is a couple of $1,000s more than this current budget. Next line, potable water. You'll see about 3 lines down. Transfer from general fund, again, $0. Full-time salaries, this is your 75% of the total salary line. Permanent part-time, we don't have anything there. Life insurance, $83. Health insurance, a little over $9. FICA, $9,050. County retirement, $17,224. Group health insurance, again, that line is duplicated, so we've got everything into 3 lines above. Postage, this is where we mail the utility bills each month to our customers. 18,000. As we add more customers, obviously we have to increase our postage. Office supplies, 3,000. Printing supplies, 3,000. Advertising, marketing, 1,820. One thing that we have to do every year is publish our consumer confidence report. That's a DHEC requirements where we put out all the lab results from the water testing throughout the year. We publish that, put it online on the county's website, and also we have to run an ad in the paper. Other operating expenses, 3,800. Property liability insurance, 3,236. Tort insurance, 150. Machinery and equipment repairs, again, this is for when stuff breaks. Water lines break, it happens. We hope it doesn't happen any, but stuff breaks and we have to make those repairs. 75,000 there. Copy machine maintenance, 1,750. Hardware maintenance, I have 0 there. Software maintenance, 7,050. That's with our billing software, our meter reading software. We have annual contracts with those companies, for service and upgrades and all that stuff. Building and property leases, 12,000. That's the building we're in over across from the courthouse. We actually pay the development board $1,000 a month to be in that building. Electricity, this is your well, the 4 wells that we have, $80,000 just for electricity on those. Uniforms, 929. Travel and training, 800. Membership and dues, 3,085. One of the bigger tickets in this line is the annual fee that we have to pay the Palmetto Utility Protection Services, PUPS for short. If you want to go out and start digging, you have to dial 811 before you can start digging so that other utilities can locate their lines and you don't break or damage their stuff. Automotive gas and fuel, again, for not only the vehicles, but the generators, 4,000. Vehicle repairs and maintenance, that's 0. I think everything's captured in the enterprise line, a few lines down. Independent auditors, 0. Hope we don't have to hire one of those. Legal contractual services, 1,000. Bank service charges, $9,750. That's for non-sufficient fund checks, statement fees, all that stuff adds up. Workers' comp, 1,325. No transfer between water and sewer.
Mr. Mix, let me
Yeah.
ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
On that bank services, I see the year-to-date was 3,900.
Yeah,
Budgeted 9,000 3 times, almost double the amount. Is that right?
well, the year to date, I think, is the third column. The 3,905 is from, what, 2 years ago? About 2 and a half.
That's correct. That's the actual for the previous.
Yeah, okay. So the current year, it's 1,372. And honestly, I don't know if everything's been posted on this ledger for this year. I don't know maybe you can shed some light on that, Liz?
Well, the ledger, the year-to-date for your department, because it's not in the general fund, is up to January.
Mm-hmm.
So we still have February in there.
obviously, something we can go back and take a closer look at just to make sure that we got a good number in that line, because it is obviously a lot higher than what it is for over half the year, you know.
Okay.
Okay, back over to the next page. IT services restricted, we don't have anything budgeted there. Mobile phone, that's basically for mine. That's the only mobile phone that we have in our department. Contracted services, O&M, $201,084. Again, that's with S&T Utilities. Contracted services, other, $21,000. Again, that's your grass cutting, lab testing, any lab testing, pest control, tank inspections that have to be done annually, spraying around the fire hydrants with herbicide so the fire department can find them in the middle of the night, generator maintenance, all that's in the contracted services other. Operating permits, again, this is the annual fee that DHEC charges us to basically operate our system. It's based on the number of taps that we have, number of customers, certain formula that they use to calculate that fee. Installed water taps, that's where we contractors go out and put water taps into the residents. That's $15,000, and that's aside from the major construction projects that we have to where they're covered with the USDA funding. That's if somebody comes and wants a tap in an existing area, you know, that didn't get one 4 or 5 years ago. That's in that line. Chemicals, which is 100% chlorine again. That's for disinfection of the water, $14,000. Again, no calculation of depreciation. No money budgeted for any kind of engineering, consulting engineering. Again, this would be anything in addition to the major products like Trio, Muzan, Earl. We don't have anything budgeted there. Materials, this is your water meters, your service connections, $30,000 for the water taps. General supplies, $1,500. General and admin expenses, $2,500. We don't purchase any water for resale, so we have zero budgeted there. We do sell a little bit annually to the towns of Greeleyville and the towns of Lane. Sometimes even the town of Stuckey, if they have an issue over there, we sell water to them. Transfer out to reserve. Again, this is the USDA requirement to where we're fully funding an annual debt payment. It's $99,000 that we have to move over to that restricted reserve account. Enterprise fleet leasing, zero. Building improvements, zero. Computer hardware, capital outlay. I have the capital listed under Luzon. You see Trio, Earl, we are expected to finish that project before the end of this budget year, so we won't have any kind of fees associated with that project starting in July 1. Muzan, we have $3 million budgeted for that. That's an 18-month project. They just got started this past month. Actually, I got the first pay request Friday. So 18 months from basically the beginning of March, that project should be wrapping up. And it was $4.1 million total, I think. So of that, we've got the $3 million there. Again, the big ticket item here, the loan payment that we're paying back to USDA, that's with Trio being added this coming year, we'll be up to $1,243,824 just in debt payment. No money transferred out to general fund, So we have a total potable water of $5,026 and $525. $5,026,525. Of that, obviously, $3 million for the Muzan. So we're looking at a little over $2 million just for operation, maintenance, debt payments, just in water.
Director Nixon, although some of the revenue line items are unknown at this time, can you just briefly go through the known
Yeah.
revenue line items?
Yeah, as both of you know, obviously we are in the middle of raising water rates and looking at the availability fee as well. So at the time that I created the budget, I just didn't know what those rates would be. So you'll see unknowns on the water sales and the water availability fee, which is the second page. Just going through the revenues, start about midway down in the first page, you got wastewater treatment plant, treatment, and this is basically the federal prison. Aside from that, we have the 52 station, $338,000 in revenues that they pay us to treat the sewer. Collection income, there's no special fee for that. Penalties, prison, 99.9% of the time they pay on time. So I mean, there's no penalty there. The lane sewer operations, again, that's for the small portion of the sewer system in the town of Lane that we operate for them, and we have we hope to collect $50,000. That's what they pay us to treat their sewer. So that's what we have budgeted in revenues there. Potable water, again, totally separate fund. Nothing, no revenues for the first few lines. The first revenue line is the franchise fee. This is what we charge the towns. You got Hemingway, Kingstree, Stuckey, Lane, Greeleyville, and Barano, and City of Lake City. They also have a small franchise area in Williamsburg County. They pay us a franchise fee for operating, within our service area, and that's $15,500 that we collect from those municipalities. Tap fees, this is what we charge the customer to go out and put the tap in. $30,000 is what we expect there. Penalties, if somebody's late past the 15th, they pay a 10% penalty on their water bill, so $30,000 there. Water connection fees, that's basically the $50 fee for the meter, $10,000 budgeted there. The sales, again, it's unknown. Last budget year, or this current budget year, we had $1,234,860. That's what the current budget was. Rental deposits, we charge a $75 deposit to anyone that's renting at an address. In case they move out, they can't stick us with at least $75 worth of water. At least we can hold on to that. If they leave out with their account in good standing, like paid in full, they get that $75 returned to them. Reconnection fees, we charge $40 for any customers that are cut off each month. So we have $28,000 budgeted there. Interest drawn at the bank accounts, $500. Interest rates on savings, is not that much nowadays. Return check fee, $450. No miscellaneous revenue. That would be, I guess, like if we sold some scrap metal, broken hydrants or something like that, but we don't have anything budgeted for revenue there. Availability fees, again, unknown. Budgetary fund balance, I'm not even sure what that line is. Trio Earl, Again, all of that expense or revenue was, I don't even know, oh, that would be the USDA basically funding the project, that money coming in, and then us, paying the contractor or what have you. So, again, Trio anyway, expect to be complete this year. We have an application to USDA at the moment for the Earl portion, what we call Division 2. That's the one that, when we got the bids, goodness, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we didn't have enough money to cover the Earl portion, so we had to go back to USDA for more funding on that. So we're still in wait and see mode there. Moves on, this will be the revenue coming in, or basically the grant and the loan coming in from USDA, $3 million. So that's a wash with what you saw in the expense. So we have a total potable water without knowing the water sales or the availability fees of a little over $3 million. Well, really 119,000, because the $3 million is coming from the USDA. So as soon as we get that water rate nailed down and the availability fees, we'll be in a better position to make some good decisions on this coming budget.
So you said the total is what now?
The total, you see, was like 300 and,
Give me a
Three.
line number we're looking at, if you don't mind.
well, it'd be the total potable water, the last line on the second page, some of it's bold there, $3,119,850, but that's only, $3 million of that is the money coming in from USDA. So we don't have a figure for the water sales, which is the most revenue. Normally that's over $1 million a year, and we don't have a figure yet for the availability fee, which last year was $354,000. So once we get those, then we'll be comparable to our $5 million expense. Mm-hmm.
$340,379.
Yeah.
So the difference between that and the $3 million should be in available fees and your water sales.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
That's what I was asking. I see one page says 5 million, one page says 3 million. 74703 on the last page has a total of 5 million, and on the second page it has a total of 3 million.
The last page is your total expenditures, the $5,340,000, that's the expense. And then the second,
Revenue that's absent the revenue coming in?
that's right.
Okay.
That's total expense, no revenue, no net gross, it's just total expense. Sorry to bore you with all the numbers. I had a whole hour here, and, I said, well, unless y'all have a different agenda, I'll just go line by line, and something stands out, ask me a question. All right.
Yes.
Have I gone an hour yet? Is that 15 minutes maybe?
Do you have any idea how many customers have signed up for that trial project?
318.
318.
Yeah, I looked at those
Thank you.
numbers this morning.
I'm sorry. I know I'm asking a lot of questions, Mr. Mixon, but just generally, this is a lot of numbers we're looking at for the
I
first
know.
time.
I
You
know.
understand?
Yeah.
But as a general view, the budget for the water department increases how much, percentage-wise?
Really, the only increase that
And I ask that question not to set you up because I know
Yeah.
your customers have increased as well.
Yeah.
Isn't that correct?
That's,
So I'm
true,
just,
and it depends on the project, you know.
Right.
What, like trial will be completed, hopefully by the end of this budget year, and we'll add on to 318 customers
Right.
from that project. So we'll get a little more revenue, but then again, you've got the, $21,000 debt payment per month to USDA, so that kind of negates what little bit of money you're bringing in from the, I think TRIO, just me looking at the numbers, we were gonna be losing a little over $100,000 a year
Okay.
just in doing the TRIO project. I mean, that's net. Hopefully that answered your question.
well, I was just wondering if it's a sustainable system, if it's paying for itself, is what I was getting at.
We have been, well, I think when the water department was first created, it actually made money, and money was going in the bank because there wasn't very much debt. And basically, I think we were buying water from the town of Kingstree and selling it around the Sand Ridge area. I think that was the initial project for the county water back in the late 90s. And ever since then, we've come up with 7 or 8, 9 different projects, and we've just grown the system in 20 years isn't really that long, but when you $20 million in debt, you're taking that on over 20 years, it adds up, and it's put a strain on it. I was running some numbers first of the year, and I think we were looking to lose about $9,000 this year, this budget year. And that's without the TRIO expense or anything like that. So that's kind of just me doing what our bank statement showed that we paid, and then the report showed that we brought in. I mean, we were going to lose about $9,000 just this year.
Will that recent increase that was voted on a week ago help alleviate that, or is that recent increase just going to sustain the new,
No, I think
make the new
I think,
projects equivalent?
I think that'll definitely help alleviate it, and I think that'll put us in really good position right on into when we get the Earl project going.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's setting us up for Muzan and Earl, so we're going to be looking good, until we get those Earl expenses, and then we're going to be maintaining, and I think he set it up to where we put a little bit in the bank. Right now, I got a tank out there on 52 that the last inspection we had, they said it needs to be repainted. So
Okay.
I don't even have a cost for a repainting of a tank right now, but it's not cheap, I can promise you.
Mr. Nixon, the TRIO, Earls, Blakely, St. Lawrence project, all those will come from that one tank, or do you foresee we have to put another tank up someplace?
I think if we keep expanding the system, we're going to have to at least put down another well. Right now, our wells, you don't want to run your wells, but 16 hours a day, max, 16 out of your 24 hours. And right now, those 2 wells, we have one out there on 52 and then one right behind the prison. Those furnish that area. They're running about 9 hours a day. So that's without TRIO. Without Muzan, it'll be fed by its own tank, but and tank and well, and then back up from the town of Kingstree.
Great.
But yeah, that's another. I mean, eventually we're gonna have to put down a new well. If we get a 6-inch water line bust in the middle of the night, you look at the graph and your tank's going down, in a hurry. And with the water usage that's going on top of that, much less the water that you're spilling out on the ground. And sometimes you don't know exactly where that leak is, and you have to start riding and looking and hope somebody calls with low water pressure or no water at all to kind of let you know what area to look in.
Great.
Thank you,
Anything
sir. I
else?
appreciate you answering my questions.
No problem.
Thank you.
If you
And
got any more, give me a call. I know this is a long, drawn-out process. We're here in March, and we've got through June. Just let me know.
thank you. And thank you for everything that you're doing for the county.
Thank
you.
y'all. Thank y'all.
What time is it? Yeah, if Jeff is ready, we can go, Jeff. Information technology, if you're ready. 5 minutes.
I heard you. Yeah, okay.
Thank you, sir.
Rest up for the rest of the council too. I'll get the rest of it.
All right.
Good morning.
Morning.
Just wanted to go over a few things. The first sheet y'all have, you notice there's 3 items that are highlighted. Those items are negative as of today at my account. And the reason I brought that to your attention is I have added some more to those accounts so it won't be negative again. So what I come before you today is to tell you the accounts that I'm going to increase because of either shortages or needs. So the main line item that we're going to talk about is contractual services. On the 3rd page, you'll see a quote from Canon. This is for the Uniflow software that we use on the copiers throughout the county. This is what controls access, being able to print, security, everything we do is that software. Currently, it has ran out because it was previously rolled in with a copier agreement, and those leases only go for so many years. So we have to renew the agreement, not only to get it back going, but because last year we were able to switch out the servers. Y'all know, because the computers, Microsoft Windows 7 had to be upgraded to Windows 10. Servers 2008 had to be upgraded to 2019 in order to be secure and get the security patches from Microsoft. So that was done with last year's budget. So we have to add this back in, and it has to be installed on a new server. So that's included in this agreement. They will move it from the old to the new. And the next page is the fax software that we use also with Canon. Currently, we do not have a support agreement for our fax, and this also has to be moved from the old server to the new. And the reason we do not have it is because we stopped doing business with the vendor we were doing business with, so the support ran out. So this will be renewing that contract and also protecting us from future outages. The next page should be the IMS page, the first one. This is a backup disaster recovery solution. Currently, we do have a backup, but it's local. We do not have anything off-site in case of a disaster hits this building. If a disaster was to hit this building today, we would be down and out. This not only backs up our software, but gives us the ability to be able to bring up our servers remotely. And so we can still function if a tornado or anything took this building out. We would still be in business. And the next page is also IMS. It's security awareness training. We're trying to develop cybersecurity awareness training. As y'all are probably aware, there were a couple counties hit by some cyber attacks, and I'm trying to get something started and in place. The biggest security vulnerability we have is people. You have to teach the people what to look for, what not to click on, what to click on. That is your biggest one. The rest of it is locking down stuff and securing it, in which we will talk about some more in the future. This is just the first basic thing to get some training going for the people who work here. In the next 3 pages that say Sonatrol, these are quotes for the complex and the courthouse, cameras and access doors. Currently, our cameras, I don't remember exactly how old the farmers' telephone cameras are in the complex, but they were before I started working here, so they're over 10. Courthouse was done maybe about 8-9 years ago. If you look at the cameras right now, if there was an incident, the camera, especially the ones outside where the sun has hit it, it is not visible. It's blurry. So it would be almost impossible to get an incident where the sheriff could go investigate it with our current setup. So we need to upgrade the camera systems in both buildings in order for them to be secure. As y'all know, the judicial system is in both buildings. And the other thing that I don't have a quote for currently is the phone system that we currently use throughout the county. It is also 10 years old. And y'all know that any kind of equipment, whether it's a car, computer, whatever, eventually has to be replaced. We look to doing the cloud, which would offer us the ability to do the phones from anywhere, AKA when COVID hit, we could do it at home, wherever we wanted to be. The phones would work. It was really expensive. It was $300,000 for 3 years. So we're looking at trying to get another on-premise phone system currently, and I currently do not have the quote yet. He said he'd have it to me by this week, so I can get that information to you or Liz and amend my budget when that comes in. But these are items that I would consider necessary for us to continue to function and to grow as far as technology goes in Williamsburg County. And that's the reason when you see my budget, the contractor line item has went up significantly. One, because of the shortage, and then added on these things to it. I'm open for any questions now or later.
Just looking at the front page, Jeff, of your budget, and I'm looking at the increases. Your budget overall is increased by how much from last year?
My budget, only that 3 line items are going to increase. 2 of them just to cover what's negative now. And the contractor services is going to increase by around, you have that form with you? It's approximately, Mr. Floyd, around, I don't have it in front of me, I'm sorry.
And I asked that question because I'm asking everybody. You know, last year, due to budget cuts, we were asking everybody to decrease their budget by a certain percentage.
Mine was decreased by about
14% is what we ask
mine was
everyone to
decreased
do. Right, and I'm just asking, just overall, if we're kind of staying in line, and we certainly want you to have the money that you need to operate, no question about that. IT is very, very, in today's world, with the way everything is now, with having to Zoom everything, is probably more important than ever, and certainly not being critical, just asking about where we are, you know.
I'm gonna have it right for you.
The whole world has gone to IT in the last year. If there's ever been a time for, I think, your budget to increase, it would be now, in my eyes.
That line item is going to increase by.
You don't have to tell me today, Mr.
I have it.
Just
I have it.
just whenever you get a chance, we'll talk. But I was just curious, and I was asking that because I would expect it in today's world, what all we've had to do in the last year with everything going Zoom and virtual and nothing's face to face, I would expect it to have to increase, and I was just curious how much of an increase it
Contractual
was,
services,
you know?
From what I had last year to this year.
Yeah.
Is increased.
We'll get you that information.
Okay.
during our lunch break.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I just keyed in his information, so we'll get it to you.
Right.
94,000.
Okay, and I'm asking for myself, because like I said,
Yes, sir.
I know my law office has changed the way we operate. No
Well,
in-person depositions, everything's Zoom, no in-court appearances. And so, like I said, I was just curious.
94,000 from what I was issued last year is what is increased, or what I'm asking.
And that's on 94,000, and your total budget was,
The total last year that I was given was 80.
was how much?
80,000. But as you can see, currently highlighted, I'm almost 40,000 in the negative, and we're not even to June yet.
Yeah.
So what I did was add that negative back to the 80, and then add in the additional things I'm asking for. So we won't be negative again this time next year. That's how I calculated that.
Okay.
Jeff, are you seeing any financial benefits from changing from Canon? We used to use Potable, from Canon to our present.
From Rico to Canton.
From
Yes,
Rico?
that was cost savings. And there's a lease that's ending this year, and the prices are gonna go down because we won't have to include the uniflow agreement in it. So the copier prices are gonna go down again for the ones that end this year. So it's kind of a trade-off. We're not paying double. It's going down here, and then you have something else over here.
Okay.
And that would be also for the phones. When we go with the new phone system, there's a lot of things that we're paying for now that we won't be paying for then, and it'll be a trade-off. But when I'm ready to present it to you, I'll explain it to you better. So with us, it's not all cost. It's take from here and add it here. So it kind of evens out a little bit. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
What time?
Oh, I can't get
What time is it?
What time I got?
Yes. I think probate. I don't know if she's even here.